15 minutes for the top of the order, 15-minute call for our first, but 30 on course in today's Adequan WEF Challenge Fed Cup Premier Round. First round time allowed at 78 seconds. 78 seconds at first round time allowed, 15 minutes for the first on course.
Welcome to Wellington International. My name is Ellen Sweetnam, and we are here for the $35,000 Adequan WEF Challenge during the premiere week. We are here for the Winter Equestrian Festival, the first week before we start our FEI jumping next week. This is a national week here in Wellington, and then we will kick off our FEI jumping next week. Some new riders coming in to us today, some also returning riders from our Holidays and Horses series back at the end of 2024. But the start off of 2025, we have some new riders, some European riders coming over before our season starts, and then also some new horses and rider combinations, as well as some returning faces with all reliable horses, bringing them back into work prior to we start our FEI jumping next week. It's a good week for riders to come in and just school around the ring, get familiar with the ring again. For riders that didn't come to us during the end of 2024. This is a nice introduction back into the WEF 2025 series, starting us off here with our premiere week with our $35,000 Adequan WEF Challenge Cup. Some exciting faces. Mario Delorier comes in on Emerson, his mount from the Olympics. So just bringing those horses back in for fitness and getting some experience underneath them. Elon Bleeman returns on Delmar that he had during the Holiday and Horses series here, jumping both an FAI and also a national level. Jimmy Toronto comes back into us again after winning one of our speed classes during the Holiday and Horses series. Richie Vogel comes in also, returning from his tour in Europe while jumping the Olympics over there for Team Germany, and comes back to us here in Wellington after having a very successful season with us during WEF 2024. Molly Ashcali, a very experienced rider, comes into the ring again on Conrad 119. This pairing have had several top placings together over the summer, spent the summer in New York and picked up several top placings there. So then coming back to us again, Jimmy Toronto will return on a second mount, Chewbacca, coming to us for the first time of 2025, coming in during our premiere week here at Wellington International, but ahead of the FEI jumping that will start next week here at Wellington International during our WEF series. WEF will run over 13 weeks. This is our WEF 0, and then we will jump weeks 1 to 12. All 1 to 12 will be FEI weeks, so this is a nice opportunity for riders that don't typically jump FEI to get time to come into the ring here at Wellington International into the stadium. We have an exciting lineup ahead of us. Definitely some ones to watch out. This is a jump off class. So we will have around 31 to compete in the first round. And then our clears will return for our jump off after. So we'll jump our 31 competitors. We will do a quick drag break and a touch up of the surfaces. And then we will come in with our jump off of any riders that had gone clear in the first round. We have an exciting course ahead of us today. Time allowed is set at 78 seconds. We have 13 obstacles, including both a triple combination and a double. We have an exciting course ahead of us. Definitely something that riders are getting a big introduction to today, starting off the week. It's a nice big course. It's definitely something that riders are going to be looking at. Good preparation for next week, and definitely able to test out the horses before we start our big jumping during our FEI week, starting from next week on. Some notable names to mention. Tony Storman's a very young rider coming into us today after coming second in our last Saturday Night Light class of 2024. He was second. Charlie Jane did pick up the win on one of his other mounts, not the mount he is bringing in today. So Tony, young rider coming in, had a really, really nice tour with us the end of 2025 or 2024. So exciting for him to come in and tackle this course today on his mount. Some other notable riders is Kevin Gallagher returns to us again today after jumping during the Holiday and Horses series. He had an excellent tour with us over the Holiday and Horses series here. Some other notable riders. Mario Delorier comes back with his Olympic mount, as I said, Emerson, but also bringing in another mount. Richie Vogel will come in on two of his mounts. Um, Some other exciting lineup. Alison Robitaille will come in on her mount. She jumped during the Holiday and Horses here during the WEF Holiday and Horses series here, the Wellington Holiday and Horses series. So, nice to see her come back into the ring for 2025. Max Routledge, a polo rider turned show jumper, will come in to us as well. On two of his mounts, jumped here during the Holiday and Horses series, jumped in Europe very late of this year, jumped to the Horse of the Year show, and then has just come over to us during the end of 2024, came over to us, and then will stay with us then for the WEF series. So it's nice to see him come in, bring in a new mount, and also bring in a new rider into Wellington for WEF 2025. I think that's the exciting thing about WEF 2025, and especially this week, we get to see which riders come in for WEF 2025. We have a good lot of American riders or American-based riders that come over here and jump for WEF 2020 every year, 2025 especially this year. But it's nice to see some other riders coming in from Europe, and then some of them coming in and adding to the pool of riders that are here, some experience, some less experience. But it's a good opportunity for riders to come over here and jump at the high caliber with the high achieving riders and the riders that had gone to the Olympics, and then coming over here and gaining that experience. The first in for this $35,000 Adequan WEF challenge is Michael Desiderio aboard La Muguet. This is a 13-year-old stallion by Ugana City out of Belle Reville. Our course today starts at our Adequan Oxer at 1, and then a nice bending line to the Bainbridge vertical at 2, and then just a nice tight turn back to the blue vertical at 3, and then just a nice flowing canter down to that Wellington International Oxer at 4. Bending line back to that red Oxer at 5 before cruising around the corner, coming down the long side bar by our VIP club. And then over our Dodd Technologies double. And then over that skinny vertical in the middle of the ring for 8. And then down over that Southern Arches Oxer for 9. Nice over that triple bar for 10, that WEF triple bar. And then you come down here to the triple combination for 11, A, B, and C. Just picking up that last part of C. And then the last line, you just roll back to that Kubota Oxer, and then down to the Adequan plank vertical there at 13. So Michael Lesser just picking up the 4 jumping falls there in a time of 76.865. Time allowed is set at 78 seconds. Our second in will be Doug Payne aboard Chocolata or FB. This is a 12-year-old gelding by Choco Blue out of Walrus. This combination were third in a 3-star speed this summer in Tryon, and also picked up some placings during WEF of 2024. Doug, a very experienced rider. An eventer and show jumper, so definitely has the experience in both, which he can bring into the show jumping ring and also bring in his show jumping skills into the eventing ring. Just have picked up that 4 false at fence 2 so far, coming down to our WEF triple bar to our blue triple combination. And then just coming home to our last line to our Kubota Oxer, then down to our Adequan vertical at 13 with that plank on top. Doug just finishing up there on the 4 falls in a time of 77.696. Two gone so far, and both inside our time allowed set of 78 seconds. Next in, we welcome Jimmy Toronto, Uncle China Z. This is a 10-year-old gelding by Cannon out of Dasua Z. This is a long-term partnership of Jimmy. They had top placings in both New York and Michigan this summer, and they were the winners of a 3-star speed in Michigan this summer, and also winning a 4-star speed in New York together. Jimmy, a very experienced rider, has been in this ring many a times. Also a very experienced hunter rider. He runs Jet Show stables with wife Danielle, with son JJ competing now at this level. JJ won his first National Grand Prix this summer in Michigan, while also picking up several wins in equitation this summer and fall. Jimmy just picking up the middle part of that triple combination there. Yeah, just the middle part of that triple combination coming down for Jimmy Toronto there. 4 jumping there and 1 time fault there. Time was 78.032. Time allowed is set at 78 seconds, so just outside the time allowed there for Jimmy Toronto. So picking up that 4 jumping faults as well as 1 time fault there. Next in, we welcome Ila Blumen. He is aboard Delmar. This is a 9-year-old gelding. Ilan is also listed as the owner of his mount today. Ilan, a very experienced rider, really good at, developing horses and bringing them up. A discussion we had quite often the end of 2024 was, in the equestrian world, horses will turn a year older come January 1st. So it doesn't matter if you know the horse's date of birth. It's every horse turns turns a year older on the 1st of January. So being on a 9-year-old, just turned 9, Joe Milan does a really good job. He has several mounts like this that are young and he's bringing up. He jumped them during the end of 2024 here and does a really good job of developing them and then bringing them up to this level and bringing them into a ring like the stadium here that we have in Wellington, and does a really good job of producing them and gaining that experience with them. This combination were 6th in a 2-star Grand Prix in the Hamptons this year. Previous mount of cousin Daniel. And Alon just picking up the 2 parts of that double B and C. So Alon Blumen just picking up that 8 jumping faults and 2 time faults there in a time of 79.524 for Alon Blumen on Delmar. Still hanging on to waiting for our first clear. So far we've had 4 gone. Our fifth in for round one is Celso Rani aboard Gibfantian LZ. This is an 11-year-old gelding by James VDL Conhovas out of Dylan VD Planton. Celso took over the ride of this horse from Gemma Paternoster back in March of 2024. They jumped their first 4-star in Ocala this summer together. Celso is our fifth in for this first round. We have 2 on the 4 falls, 1 on 5, and then 1 on 10. We have our LED boards back in at the side of the rings for WEF of 2025. If you notice the series during the end of 2024, we had our white banners, so it's a change in scenery for those horses again, even though they would have come and jumped during our Holiday in Horses series. The ring looks different to the horses. There's less white around the side of it. Also a bit busier. We have our VIP open now. More people around. It's definitely a change in scenery for the horses, although it is the same ring. It's also coming home here on clear around to our last line and just our Adequan plank to clear. Perfect. There, Celso gives us our first clear in a time of 77.551, giving us our first clear today in this $35,000 Adequan WEF challenge during our premiere week here in Wellington International. Next in, we welcome Jad Donna and Hitchcock Does Zame. This is a 10-year-old gelding by Marius Claudius out of Ilham de Dame. This combination were second in a 5-star in Toronto this November. They followed some of the legs of the Major League Tour, so picking up placings there and also jumping up to a 5-star level with that tour. Jad, of course, trained and rides with Leslie Howard, getting that experience from her. Jad jumped here during our Holiday in Horses series and picking up placings with us here, jumping under the lights at that national level with some of these horses. So gaining some experience in the ring, but also getting it under the lights as well, which was nice for riders to do that at that level. Celso Rani is our only clear so far. That is our 6th to go. So just that last line left to come down. That Kubota Oxer down to that our Adequan vertical. Just unfortunately having that plank down there for Jadana, so just picking up that Fort Falls time there in a time of 75.666. So still just that one clear for Celso Rani with our 6 gone. Our 7th into the ring today will be Max Routledge. He is aboard Ascanta PPZ. This is a 9-year-old mare by Askazi out of Belinda PP. An interesting fact about Max is that he used to be a professional polo player, now turned show jumper. He's jumped for Team GB in several Senior Nations Cup teams. He's competed at the Young Horse World Championships in Lanaken. So good at producing those young horses, bringing them up to that level. Has picked up a Team Silver for Team GB also on his old mount Ballaloo. Just unlucky rolling that first part of that triple combination, having that down. And Max just coming down to our last line here, down to our Adequan vertical. Max really just picking up that 4 falls there and 1 time falls in a time of 78.588. Slotting him into a 6th place as of now. Still only that 1 clear so far, Salsarani being our only clear as of now. Next in, we welcome Germany's Richard Vogel aboard Levi Nosar. This is a 9-year-old stallion by Zakota Blue VDL out of Kalama. This combination were 6th in a 5-star winning round in California this fall. Also were the winners of a 5-star in Toronto. Richard, a very experienced rider in this ring, has had several wins in this ring. Spent his summer over in Europe, competed for Germany at the Olympics, as well as doing some of the major league tours here. So juggling between Europe and North America during the fall. And then coming to us here in Wellington International for our WEF 2025. Definitely an exciting rider to see in this ring. Excited to have him back. Hopefully seeing his Mount United touch back in this ring. And then some of his other mounts that he really has a really nice selection of horses. Really nice clear around there for Richard Vogel in time of 77.634. Giving us our 2nd clear round, so guaranteeing us a jump off in this. So Richard Vogel joins Salsarani for the jump off of this $35,000 Adequan WEF Challenge Cup. Next in, we welcome Ireland's Kevin Gallagher aboard Ballerina Home. This is a 10-year-old mare by Baloo out of Catalo Home. This combination, they jumped up to a 3-star level this summer together, getting several top 10 placings. Just unlucky picking up the back bar of that Wellington International Oxer. Kevin now based here in America with his fiancée, Kelly Ronnie. They're based here for the winter, and then they base themselves out of Kentucky for the spring and summer months. They do a really good job of producing some young horses. They jumped them at the Young Horse Finals in Michigan this summer. Really nice selection. Kevin trained under Greg Broderick back in Ireland. Grew up riding. Very successful pony career. And then worked for Greg Broderick, really growing his experience and coming to WEF a couple of years ago. and then staying here and really fitting in really well, doing a really good job of producing horses over here. Kevin just picking up that one down there and also 3 time false there, so a total of 7 for Kevin Gallagher. 4 jumping and that 3 time in a time of 80.442. Just our 2 clear so far, Celsorani and Richard Vogel. Next in, we welcome Carly Fairty aboard jet plane. This is a 11-year-old mare by White Snake out of Ulen. This is our 10th to show today in this class. This is a previous ride of Conan Wright back in Europe. They had a top 10 finish in a 2-star Grand Prix in Ocala this summer. We have our 2 clear so far, Celsorani and Richard Vogel. Carly coming down now to our WEF triple bar, down to our triple combination. And they're just steadying up before that triple combination, just having that middle part down. With our 10 that have shown so far, we have seen that oxer of the middle part of the triple combination come down 3 times. So Carly just finishing up there on that 4 false in time of 75.082. Just that middle part of that combination coming down, and she is our fastest 4 faulter as of now. So slots into third with our 2 clears, who are Celsorani and Richard Vogel. Next in, we welcome Mara Delorier aboard SNL Quattro van de Moerenhoeve. SNL Farms listed as the owner of his mount today. This is a 9-year-old gelding by Jean-Paul van der Meulenhof. This combination showed during our Holiday and Horses series here at Wellington International. Mary, of course, a very highly decorated rider, 4-time Olympian. He competed at the Paris Olympics this year with his Mount Emerson, who will be the last to go in this class. So it'll be nice to see an Olympic combination coming into our ring here at Wellington International. Also competed at several Pan Am Games, picking up Team Silver in 2023. So a very experienced rider. Mario, no stranger to this ring whatsoever. That middle of part of that combination coming down once again. Really seeming to be our bogey fence in our round. Mary coming home there on the 4 jumping falls in a time of 77.108. Slotting him into 6th place as of now. Next in, we welcome USA's Alison Robitaille aboard Oakingham Lyra. Alison Firestone LLC listed as the ownership of this mare. This is an 11-year-old mare by Torsneis 1042 out of the Dame Pic de Sipton. This combination were fourth in a 3-star New York this summer, and also the winners of a 2-star welcome stake in Tryon during the fall. Alison, a very experienced rider. Top placings this summer on both Oakingham Lyra and also hit her other mount, Dagny, that we will see later in the class. Really nice through that turbo combination. You really saw her take a hold down to it. Definitely the turbo combination is something that's causing issues for people in the course. So really nicely there. Really nice there, 77.988. So just inside that time allowed there for Alison Robitaille on Oakingham Lyra, giving us our third clear for this $35,000 Adequan WEF Challenge Cup during our premiere week here at Wellington International. We have 3 clear out of the first 12 that we have seen so far. I would have expected 31 to see in the class today. Our 3 clears are Celso Rani, Richard Vogel, and now Alison Robitaille joins them. Three clears so far. Next in, we will welcome Rodrigo Pessoa with Starman. This is a Artemis Equestrian Farm gelding, 10-year-old by Oreganda Champs out of Clara. This combination were the winners of the Blue Diamond Cup in New York this fall. And this gelding is a previous mount of Jana Wargers. Rodrigo competing in Europe this summer as well as in North America, competing at the Paris Olympics with his mount Major Tom, as well as jumping several of the horses over in Europe. Rodrigo competing in several Olympics, several World Cup finals, several World Equestrian Games, a very seasoned rider. Just unfortunately picking up that middle part of that combination. Just coming home to our last line here to that Kubota Oxer down to our sponsor of today's class, the Adequan Vertical. Rodrigo just picking up that 4 jumping faults as well as 6 time faults there in a time of 83.164. Next in, we welcome Ireland Shane Sweetnam aboard Corian Van Clapshoot C. This is a 9-year-old gelding by Comilfa out of Ilan Van Clapshoot. We have our 3 clear so far. Celsarani being the first one of those, Richard Vogel, and also Alison Robitaille. This is a newer mount for Shane. Shane taking over the ride in October of this year. Has jumped several meter 45s together. Jumped during our Holiday on Horses series here at Wellington International. Shane is another rider that spent his time in Europe as well as being in North America this summer, just like Rodrigo Pessoa. Jumping at the Paris Olympics with his mount James Can Cruz. And juggling his time between North America and also Europe. Coming down to our last line now, just on that 8 falls from the 2 verticals on course. Shane finishing up there on 8 falls in a time of 78.959. Just picking up that 1 time fault. Also, time allowed is set at 78 seconds. Next in, we welcome the German rider Toni Stormans aboard Donjo Dashu. I believe Tony is the youngest in this class today. He picked up a 2nd place in our last Saturday Night Lights class of the series in our National Grand Prix here a couple weeks ago. Put in a super round that night. Just slightly missed out on the win, with Charlie Jane taking the win of that class. Donjo Dashu is a 12-year-old gelding by Vigro CC out of Echelon Va Ashut. This combination spent their summer over in Europe before coming down to us here in the fall. They picked up a 2nd place in a 1-star Grand Prix in Aachen this summer. Also picked up several top placings while over in Europe. Tony coming down now to the triple combination. To something that has caught people out in the past. Tony just picking up that first part of that triple combination. That is the 2nd time for that to come down today. Then coming down to our last line to our Adequan vertical at 13. Jumping falls is just at 11A, coming down for that 4 falls for that, and then picking up 2 time falls there in a time of 79.774 for Tony Stormans. Next in, we welcome Charlie Jane aboard Millfield Kangaroo. Charlie was the winner of our last Saturday Night Lights class here with his homebred mount. Millfield Kangaroo is a 9-year-old stallion by Cannon out of Millfield Clough. This is a previous ride of Laura Robinson. Also had a top 10 finish in a 3-star speed in Kentucky this fall. Just unlucky picking up that Southern Arches Oxer there. That is the first time for that Oxer to come down, actually. Charlie doing a really good job. He's very experienced at producing those horses, bringing them up to a level. Something we spoke about a lot previously is just the home breeding they have and the program they do. And their ability to produce those really nice horses. Charlie coming home there with the 16 jumping there in a time of 79.279. We have 15 remaining with our 3 clear so far. Salsa Rani, Richard Vogel and Alison Robitaille being our 3 clears. Carly Faraday is our fastest four-faulter as of now in a time of 75.082. So she is staying in 4th as of now with our 15 left to go. Today we are watching our $35,000 Adequan WEF Challenge Cup during our premiere week here. This class is kindly sponsored by Adequan. Our first of 15 remaining in this class before we adjust for that jump off of our 3 so far is Richard Neal. Richard Neal is aboard Adequan LS. This is a 14-year-old gelding by Caruso LS La Salle out of Amoroso LS. This combination jumped during our Holiday and Horses series here at Wellington International, jumping both under the lights and also in our day Grand Prix, so getting that experience here. Richard Neal training with Leslie Howard. So you can see that style of the No Martingale, very flowing canter. Jad Donna, who trains and rides with her also. Similar style to riding, very much letting the horse do their thing. Having that open canter, but also having that nice connection with the No Martingale. Richard just picking up that middle part of that combination. We have seen 18 so far, and that Oxer has come down 7 times. So interesting to see. Richard just finishing there with that 4 false there at that middle part of that triple combination, and time is 77.315 for Adequan LS. Just that 4 false there. Next in, we welcome Gabriel de Matos Machudo aboard Niles van de Motenhof. This is a 12-year-old gelding by I Am Morenhof a Star out of Ballerina van de Helly. This combination were fourth in a 5-star speed in Michigan this summer, and also picked up several top placings during WEF of 2024. I'm sure they want to carry that trend into WEF of 2025. We have our 3 clears so far, with 19 that have jumped so far out of our 31 expected. Several on that 4 faults. We have 5 people on 4 faults. 5 faults picking up that time fault. Time has been something people are taking into consideration today. Not a huge worry for some people, but also definitely catching some people out. Clear it is. Clear in a time of 76.456 for Gabriel de Matos Machado. Our 4 clears. We have our 4 clears so far. Next in, we welcome Molly Ash Colley aboard Conrad 119. This is a 15-year-old gelding by Comme le Fa the 5th. Lewisburg Farm listed as the owner of the mount today. Molly, a very experienced rider. It's a really good job spent with a lot of young horses. Produce them up, bring up to a new level. Several top placings, a very fast rider also. Several top placings this summer. Daughter Taylor picking up lots of wins this season. Did a really good job at all of her equitation finals. A really experienced rider. Really one to watch in the future, which is nice to see. Really nice there, Molly coming home with a clear in a time of 75.123. Back-to-back clears there. That one coming in by Molly Ash Colley with Conrad 119. Next in, we welcome Michael Walton on the Electro RW. This is a 9-year-old gelding by Decantos out of Arlena. This combination jumped their first FEI class in July of 2024 in Ocala. They were winners of a 4-star speed there. Michael, previous mount of this horse is Rodrigo Gliastrel back in Europe, jumping up to a 5-star level there. Michael choosing to purchase and then bring it over to us here in the US. Just unlucky picking up that vertical there. Second time we've seen that vertical come down today. We have seen 21 so far. And our 5 clears now. Our 2 back-to-back with Gabriella and Molly, giving us 2 back-to-back there. The middle part of that combination coming down once again. Michael coming home there on the 8 jumping faults and 1 time fault and a time of 78.779. So a total there of 9 faults there for Michael Walton and the Elantro or W.
Jacqueline Rule of number 2 detectives, our own Mr. Ramos Z. 14-year-old Bakalani home. The first of 11 remaining in the first round.
Next in, we welcome Jacqueline Rule aboard Carmichael Z. This is a 12-year-old mare by Clara Moe out of Cyprus. This combination were 4th in a 2-star Grand Prix in Tryon this fall, and the winners of a 4-star Speed in Traverse City in the summer. We have our 5 clear so far. This is our 22nd to go out of our expected 31. Jacqueline coming clear now down into our triple combination before turning back to that Kubota Oxer to the Adequan vertical. Had a little rub at the middle part of the combination, but it stayed up. It's the last jump to jump. Just outside that time allowed there, clear jumping, but 2 time false there and a time of 79.071 for Jacqueline Rule, who's still with our 5 clears so far. Alison Robitaille, Celso Arani, Richard Vogel, Gabrielle de Matos Marcho, and Molly Ashcali. Max Routledge comes back to us on his second mount. Our first of 10 remaining is Ajario. This is an 11-year-old stallion by Arizo VDL out of Fantana. This combination toured in Europe this summer, jumping up to a 3-star level together. Jumped at the Horse of the Year show before coming to us here in Wellington. Jumped during the Holiday and Horses series here, so came over at the end of the year, jumped our end of season series before closing out 2024, and then back to us here for 2025 again. Max just picked up that 4 jumping and 1 time fault on his first mount. Just unfortunately just having that middle part of the combination now. And that last vertical, just the distance not coming up right. So we're just going to rebuild that last vertical and that Oxer again, and Max can reapproach. Looked like it may be a wave of the hand there for Max, just as he walks towards the end gate. It's maybe something he wants to practice at home Hard coming down to that big triple combinations, caused a lot of issues today. Just important to, make sure your horse is in a good headspace and ready to come down into that triple combination. So Max just choosing to retire there. Just retiring out of our $35,000 Adequan WEF Challenge Cup. Richard Vogel comes back into us again on his second mount, already clear on his first mount so far. He's aboard Sidello. This is an 11-year-old gelding by Casadello out of Farita. This combination were the winners of a 3-star this fall. Also second in a 5-star in Barcelona a couple weeks ago. And then picking up several placings while he was in Aachen this year. Richard already clear on his first mount. Very experienced rider in this ring. Very successful rider in this ring also. We were talking about other riders, spending their time in both Europe and North America this summer. Richard being one of those also. Spent a lot of time in Europe, and then towards the end of, I think around the end of the Olympics, he decided to come over to North America a little bit more, started joining the Major League Tour, jumped on those tours for the second half of their season. He has a really nice selection of horses and a really nice group of them that he can have some good horses in Europe, but also having some good horses in America also. Richard just another clear around there, just a one time fault there, and a time of 78.152. So just outside that time allowed there for Richard Vogel. So Richard going clear on both of his, just that one time fault on his second mount of today. We have our 5 clear so far. Alison Robitaille, Celso Arani, Richard Vogel, Gabriel D'Amato Marchu, and Molly Ashcali. And then Richard Vogel being our one-time faulter and Jacqueline Rule being our 2-time faulter. Next in, we welcome Halalea and Carla Mawini. Halalea is a 12-year-old mare by VDL Zaruco Blue out of Golden Lee II. Halalea is a previous mount of Lars Karst back in Europe. They jumped up to a 5-star level together, winning a World Cup qualifier. Also, Caroline began jumping FEI with it in June of this year. And just gaining that experience together, learning. They jumped during our Holiday and Horses series here at Wellington International and just gaining that experience. Caroline training with Jessica Mendoza. Very successful Team GB rider. Jumping on several Senior Nations Cup team for Team GB and World Cup finals. Caroline doing a really good job of just gaining experience with this horse. It's quite a different mount. Her other mount is very small, fast, quick, a little bit like a pony, so it's very much a big step up for Caroline to learn how to ride these other horses, and she's doing a super job with it. Really nice air clear around time is 77.156 for Caroline Mawini, giving us our 6 clears for this $35,000 Adequan WEF challenge for our premier week here at Wellington International. We welcome in Doug Payne on his second mount. aboard Quintess. This is a 14-year-old gelding by Quinar out of Victoria's Secret. Payne Equestrian listed as the ownership of his mount today. As we said before, Doug, a very experienced rider, both as an eventer and also a show jumper. Very experienced rider for Team USA. Just picking up the middle part of that combination once again. Really seems to be our bogey fence today. I'm picking up that Kubota Oxer also. I believe that's the first time for that Oxer to come down. So Doug just finishing up there on the 8 jumping faults as well as one time fault. And the time is 78.417 for Doug Payne. Diego Villarreal is the next in. He is aboard only UZ. This is a 13-year-old mare. This combination spent their summer in Florida, jumping at a national level and having several placings in national Grand Prix. They also jumped during our Holiday in Horses series. Just on that 6 clear so far, and Diego just unfortunately picking up that down at that Oxer. Second time for that Certain Arches Oxer to come down for us today. And just having that first part of that combination as well. Finishing up there on that 8 faults there and also 2 time faults. And a time of 79.067 for Diego Vieiro on only UZ. Still on those 6 clear so far, Alison Robitaille, Celso Ronnie, Richard Vogel, Gabrielle D'Amato, Zamara Shu, Molly Ash Colley, and then Carla Mawini being our most recent clear. One time fall came from Richard Vogel on his second mount, but as I said, already clear on 1, and Jacqueline Rule picking up the 2 time falls also. Our first of 5 remaining in our $35,000 Adequan WEF Challenge Cup is Jimmy Toronto on his second mount. He is aboard Chewbacca HCC. This is a 12-year-old gelding by Clara Moe out of Wada the 7th. As I said, Jimmy, a very experienced rider. This combination have jumped up to a 5-star level together. And they did compete at our Rolex Grand Prix here at Wellington International during WEF of 2024. Just unfortunately picking up that back part of that Dodd Technologies Oxer. I believe it is the first time we've seen that Oxer come down. But as I said, this combination jump up to a 5-star level together. Experience in this ring. Coming back in from a little bit of a break. I don't think Jimmy didn't jump Chewbacca during our Holiday and Horses series. He jumped his other mounts, so, give him some time off and then just getting the gears back in motion again before, as the WEF season starts, and just getting some experience for the bigger FEI weeks. Jimmy just coming home there on the 4 jumping false there in time of 75.451. So he is our second fastest 4 faulter so far. Excuse me. We have 4 remaining in our $35,000 Adequan WEF Challenge Cup here at Wellington International during our WEF Premier Week. Alison Robitaille comes in on her second mount, already clear on her first mount. She is aboard Dagny. This is an 11-year-old mare by Durant out of Balamo Palawana. This combination were double clear in a 2-star Grand Prix in Tryon this October. And Dagny is a previous mount of Kent Farrington. As I said, Alison is already clear on her first mount, but always better to have 2 than 1 than jump off if you can. Alison had top placings this summer in New York and in Traverse City. A really nice group of horses she has. She knows them very well, knows exactly what they need. Just coming down to our last line now. Time may be something that she may have taken into consideration, but just picking up that first part or the front bar of that Kubota Oxer. So coming home there on that 4 false, unfortunately just picking up that fence down at fence 12 in a time of 76.833 for Alison Robitaille aboard Dagny. Celso Ariani comes in on his second mount, already clear on his first mount. Comes in a second mount on Fortuna de la Nutria. This is a 9-year-old gelding by Zandor out of O'Hara de la Nutria. This combination have jumped up to a 3-star level together. Also jumped clear in a 3-star Grand Prix qualifier in Ocala this summer. Celso was a face we saw during our Holiday and Horses series quite regularly with his lineup of horses. Doing a really nice job so far, just coming across to our vertical at 8. We have our 6 clears so far. I'm sure Celso wants to bring another one into that jump off with his already qualified mount. Really nice through that bogey triple combination before coming down to our last line here to the Kubota Oxer. Just outside there. The time allowed, clear jumping, just the 2-time false start and time of 79.131 for Celso Arani. slotting him into ninth. So similar to Richard Vogel, both of his mounts going clear over the fences, just picking up those time faults. We have our 6 clear so far. I believe we will have 2 left to go in this $35,000 Adequan WEF Challenge Cup here during our premier week at Wellington International. Next in, we welcome Rodrigo Pessoa on his second mount of today. This is Dalada. This is in Levero Mare by Demond de Selmeli out of Claravanda Krupanov. Artemis Equestrian Farm listed as the owner of his mount today. We didn't see Rodrigo here during our Holiday and Horses series that much. So nice to have him back in the ring here at Wellington International. Rodrigo basing himself both here in Wellington during the winter and then in New York during the summer and fall. Just unlucky there picking up that last part of that combination. Rodrigo just finishing up there on the 4 jumping falls there in a time of 75.075. Those falls coming at 11C and also that Kubota Oxer at 12. Our final in today's class will be Mario Delore on his second mount. He is aboard Emerson. This is a 13-year-old gelding by Eldorado van de Schoo out of Ilonva Dalamarife. This pair jumped at the Paris Olympics this year. Also a silver medalist at the Pan Am Games in 2023. I believe he jumped Emerson once during pre-circuit during the Holiday and Horses series. Then gave him a little bit of a break before our season starts now here at Wellington International for our Winter Equestrian Festival. Still hanging on to that 6 clear. Mara coming down to our triple bar, down to our triple combination before approaching our last line. Really nice there from Mara Delore, giving us a clear in time of 74.230 for Mario Delore on Emerson, giving us our 7 clears. Our 7 clears being Alison Robitaille, Celso Arani, Richard Vogel, Gabrielle D'Amato Marachou, Molly Ashcolly, Caroline Mawiney, and Mario Delore being our last in, and also our last to go clear. So he will be the last to go in our jump off of today's $35,000 Adequan WEF challenge during our premiere week. Before we're going to do a quick touch up before our jump off. We're going to be back in a few minutes. Before we finish up for our first round, I'm just going to say a quick thank you to our sponsors. Today's class is sponsored by Adequan, and the Adequan WEF Challenge Cup will take place every week during the Wellington International Horse Show here at WEF. Adequan, American regional animal health maker of Adequan polysulfated glycosamine glycan, is a proud sponsor of today's $35,000 Adequan WEF Challenge Premier Round. For over 30 years, Adequan has been trusted by veterans, trainers, and horse owners. Visit adequan.com to learn more. The sponsor of our stream today is Dodd Technology. Presenting our live stream is Dodd Technologies. Your partner is in engineering extraordinary experience since 1983. Discover how they elevate sports, entertainment, and corporate events at Dodd Technologies. Lastly, we'd like to thank our supporting sponsor, USEF. USEF is also a presenting sponsor of our live stream, in partner with the support of the US Equestrian Federation and the USEF network. We will be back in a few minutes. The ground is going to have a quick touch up and pull out some jumps that will not be in the jump off course, and we'll be back and I will talk you through our jump off course.
Bainbridge is a fully integrated multifamily real estate company that has developed and acquired more than 43,000 units, representing $8.1 billion in transactions since its inception. With over 650 associates nationally, Bainbridge engages in virtually every step of the real estate process, from development and construction to acquisition and disposition, asset management and third-party management of multifamily real estate. Bainbridge is the 20th largest multifamily developer and 19th largest multifamily builder in the United States. Our team of experienced and knowledgeable professionals are devoted to creating exceptional living experiences for all of our residents and building lasting and mutually beneficial relationships with our partners and clients. Bainbridge is headquartered in Wellington, Florida, with offices and apartment communities in Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, Virginia, Maryland, and Texas. To learn more, visit www.thebainbridgecompanies.com.
Welcome back to Wellington International for the jump off of our $35,000 Adequan WEF Challenge Cup here during our premiere week. Adequan, American regional animal health maker of Adequan polysulfated glycosaminoglycan, is a proud sponsor of today's $35,000 Adequan WEF Challenge Cup during the premiere week. For over 30 years, Adequan has been trusted by veterans, trainers, and horse owners. Visit adequan.com to learn more. We'd also like to thank our sponsor of our live feed. Presenting our live stream today is Dodd Technologies, your partner in engineering extraordinary experience since 1983. Discover how they elevate sports, entertainment, and corporate events at Dodd Technologies. Also, the USEF is also presenting sponsor of our live stream, in part with the support of the US Equestrian Federation and the USEF network. We have 7 clears in the first round of our $35,000 Adequan WEF Challenge Cup here at Wellington International during our WEF Premier Week. Our jump off will start over our oxer at 1, then go to 2, rolling back to 3, and then rolling back to 11 B and C. Part 8 is removed, and then rolling back once again to 12, and then rolling down to 13. Our first round, fence 13, had a plank at the top of it, but now it has a pole. That plank is removed and brought down to the bottom, so a little bit less careful coming down to that last jump. Our first in will be Celso Arani aboard Jip van TNLZ. So as I said, starting at that Adequan oxer at 1. And then nice bending to the Bainbridge vertical at 2. Before rolling back to that blue vertical at 3. And then, as I said, coming nice and tight back to 11B and C. That 11A being removed from the first part from that first round that we had. And then once again cruising back down to the Kubota oxer at 12. And then that last vertical at 13. Celso coming home there clear in a time of 32.899, giving us our first in and also our first double clear for this $35,000 Adequan WEF Challenge Cup during Premier Week here at Wellington International for our Winter Equestrian Festival. Next in, we welcome Richard Vogel. Richard is aboard Levi North Star. They said this is a 9-year-old stallion by Zeroko Blue VDL. Celso is double clear in time of 32.899. I'm sure Richard's going to do his level best to beat that time. So just nice from 1 to 2 and then really tight back to 3 to that vertical before coming back to that 11B and C. And then once again tight back to that 12 and then rolling back to that last vertical at fence 13 of that, the Adequan vertical. Double clear 29.506 for Richard Vogel, so slotting him into first place, knocking off about 3 seconds off Celso Ariani's time. Third will be Alison Robitaille on Oakingham Lyra. 2 gone so far in this jump off, and we have our 2 double clears. Richard Vogel does stand in the lead, and the time is 29.506, and second in 32.889 for Celso Ariani. From 1 to 2, there's only so much you can do, and then it's just really concentrating on getting that tight turn back 2-3 to this big vertical, and then just moving up as you're coming back to this double now. We're moving that part 11A, and then rolling tightly back to 12B, or 12, sorry, and then down to 13. Awesome, finishing up there, double clear in a time of 32.336 for Alison Robitaille on Oakingham Lira, slotting her into second place. Richard Vogel keeps that top spot there in a time of 29.506. Alison Robitaille in second in 32.336. And Celso Ariani is in third in 32.889. Next in, we welcome Gabriel de Matos Marachaudu aboard Niles van de Motenhof. Fourth to go in this jump off of our $35,000 Adequan WEF Challenge Cup here during our premiere week of the Winter Equestrian Festival. Really nice from 1 to 2, and then just concentrate on getting that nice turn back to 3. And then just moving up to come back to this double now at 11B and C. Unfortunately, just picking up that second part of the double down there. Just 4 false there in a time of 32.038 for Gabriel de Matos Marachaudu. Slotting him into 4th place as of now. We had our 4 gone, 3 double clears. Richard Vogel still in the top spot. And next in, we should have Molly Ashcali. Next in, we welcome Molly Ashcali on Conrad 119. Molly, a very fast rider. Definitely someone not to count out here. Watching all the rounds so far, Richard's turn back to 3 was super tight, and Molly similar, very, very tight back to 3. It's hard to see with on the live stream with that gazebo, but really tight now, really tight back to 11B and C. And then just add a slice to that oxer there, the Kubota oxer 12. And really nice. Oh, unfortunately, just picking up the Adequan vertical at 13 in time of 33.465 for Molly Ashcali, slotting her into 5th place as of now. That final fence just coming down for Molly Ashcali, putting her in 5th place as of now. Next in, we welcome Carla Mowini aboard Halilay. Richard Vogel still in that top spot in a time of 29.506. Alison Robitaille in second in a time of 32.336. And Celso Ariani is in third in 32.889. Caroline did a super first run on her mount. Interesting to see what they'll do here in the jump off. As you said, a newer mount for Caroline, just growing and learning together. Just unfortunately picking up that first part of that double. So just coming home there on the 4 faults in a time of 32.315 for Carla Mawini and Halilay, slotting her into 5th place as of now. Richard Vogel still in top spot in a time of 29.506. With just one left to go, Mario Delorier will be our last to go on his Olympic Mount Emerson. Our last in is Mario Delorier on Emerson. This mare is owned by Wishing Well Farms, LLC. Time to beat is 29.506, set by Germany's Richard Vogel. They're just coming nice and tight back to this vertical at 3. I'm just making sure it keeps a rhythm while also being tight back to 11B and C. Richard Vogel had a really nice rhythm the whole time while also being super tight. Coming down to our last line. Mario finishing up there on a time of 33.168. Top call there going to Richard Vogel on Leva Nosar. 3 seconds slower is Alison Robitaille, so Richard Vogel winning there by nearly 3 seconds. Celso Ariani finishing in 3rd, Mario Delorier in 4th, Gabrielle D'Amato Marachaudeau finishing in 5th, Carla Mawini in 6th, Molly Ashcali in 7th, Richard Vogel in 8th, and on his second mount of the day, just picking up that one time fault in the first round. And Jacqueline Rule also just picking up those 2 time faults in the first round and finishing in 9th. And Celso Ariani on his second mount, finishing in 10th with those 2 time faults from the first round also. So Richard Vogel takes the win in our $35,000 Adequan WEF Challenge Cup here during the premiere week of Wellington International during our Winter Equestrian Festival. Before we finish up, we'd like to take a thank you to our sponsors of today, Adequan. American Region Animal Health maker of Adequan Polysulfated Glycosamine Glycan is a proud sponsor of today's $35,000 Adequan WEF Challenge Premier Round. For over 30 years, Adequan has been trusted by veterinarians, trainers, and horse owners. Visit adequan.com to learn more. Presenting our live stream is Dodd Technologies, your partner in engineering extraordinary experience since 1983. Discover how they elevate sports, entertainment, and corporate events at Dodd Technologies. USEF is also a presenting sponsor of the live stream in partner with the support of the U.S. Equestrian Federation and the USEF Network. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today for our $35,000 Adequan WEF Challenge Cup here during the premiere week of the Winter Equestrian Festival in Wellington. We will be back tomorrow for more jumping. I am Ellen Sweetnam, and I will be back to you again. Thank you.
For over 30 years, Adequan IM has been trusted by veterinarians to trainers and horse owners. Ask your vet, is Adequan is right for your horse. Visit Adequan.com to learn more. Adequan, start with it, stay with it. First to return for photos, it's Brazil's Celso Ariani. The Brazilian rider with 2 in the ribbons today, placing 10th with just time fault aboard Facundo de la Nutria, and a double clear to take 3rd place honors with Jip van TNLZ, owned by San Marino 11-year-old Anglo-European mare owned by Allison Firestone, LLC. There will be 3 both rounds today for the Adequan WEF Challenge Cup. The jump ball time 32.336 to take second for the USA's Allison Robinson. Winning rider here this afternoon, Germany's Richard Vogel with Levi Lussard. The 11-year-old Dutchman gelding by Zurocco Blue DDL. 29.506. The jump off time to take the win by about 3 seconds for Richard Vogel and Levi. Lap of honor now being led by today's winning rider for the premier round of the Adequan WEF Challenge Cup. Germany's Richard Vogel with his own Levi Nussar. 29.506 takes the win by about 3 seconds. And the jump ball today.